Hello and welcome back to Geek TV. And yes, rest assured, I am the real Morgan, unless I'm lying. Now, before we take a look at this week's episode, the Zygon Invasion, and spoilers, it's brilliant, let's reflect back on what you guys thought of last Saturday's episode, The Woman Who Lived. So reactions on Digital Spy were mixed, but mostly positive. Got a comment here from Adam Smith1, who says, I thought it was a really great character piece, and in general, this season has been terrific. But then a comment from John DeMar, who says, I thought this episode was pretty dull, though what brightened it up considerably was no Clara. I cannot wait for her to leave. It's pretty harsh. And then finally we've got a comment here from Diamond Cat, which I think makes a really interesting point, and he or she says, do we have to see yet another episode spelling out the downside of being the Doctor and how he leaves a trail of destruction and cosmic upset behind him? What about the fact that the Doctor expects you to be better than your best, better than you ever thought you could be? And I have to say, I do agree with this point. There's been a couple of moments this series where it's emphasised how bad it is to travel with the Doctor, and that he kind of corrupts you and brings out your dark side, and I'm not a big fan of that whole notion. For me, I think Terrence Dicks put it best. The Doctor is a hero. He's supposed to be an inspiration, and travelling the TARDIS is meant to be a wonderful thing. It's meant to be everyone's dream. And so I hope that that's emphasised a little more as Series 9 continues. So on to this week's episode then, the Zygon Invasion. It's written by Peter Harness, who last year wrote Kill the Moon, which I really enjoyed. And for me, Harness has come up trumps once again. This is, I think, my favourite episode by far of this series. The Zygon Invasion, it's a fast-paced global thriller, and it's scary, it's funny, has a cliffhanger that genuinely left me gasping for air a little bit. So all that works great. But then, like an alien shapeshifter, there's actually something else lurking underneath the surface, and something quite unexpected. Like all good sci-fi writers, Harness uses the genre as a way to look at our society in 2015, and there's some actually quite adult themes going on in Zygon Invasion underneath all the monsters and the spectacle. The episode deals with themes of tolerance and acceptance and immigration. It's quite overtly pro-multiculturalism and anti-extremism. The Zygons are almost used as an analogy for terrorists. And there's Osgood, of course, making her big comeback, and the episode poses the question which Osgood is which is a human, which is a Zygon, and though it poses that question, it never actually answers it, because the point it's trying to make is that it doesn't really matter which one she is. At its core, the Zygon Invasion is really a story, and quite a modern story, about acceptance and tolerance, but then it's dressed up as almost a John Pertwee adventure from the 1970s, and it has all the trappings that we would associate with classic Doctor Who. So it is, for lack of a better word, adult, but then never at the expense of the humour and the sense of fun that you associate with the show. So, to sum up, take a bow, Peter Harness. The Zygon Invasion is, for me, everything that Doctor Who should be. It's a breathless, escapist adventure. It has chills and thrills, but then it also has a tinge of darkness and added layers for us big kids. I only hope that the Zygon Inversion can match it next week. So I'll see you then for more Geek TV.